Hello, I'm here with Charisma, aka Miss Planner, who just plans everything.
Yes, guys, I got a new planner. I was so excited about getting it.
She really was. She was like giddy on her way to the mailroom.
I know. It's so gorgeous. I am a big planner. I don't know how many of you all are big planners, but I am totally a big planner. So I love it because it's just so big. And no, this is not an ad, guys. This is just me showing you something I'm in love with.
Yeah, she
It's
just
so
loves
great.
She loves planning things, and it's good because I'm not that type at all. So
Yeah.
one of us needs to be.
Yes, so I've just been like planning everything, and it's nice because you have the month here, and then you have little tablets for the weeks here, and then you have more room to write more. It's just great. It is called the Laurel Denise Planner. If you need a new planner, it went viral on TikTok, and she's just selling out everywhere.
Wow. All right.
Woo!
Quite an endorsement.
We have so much stuff going on. It's nice to have it written down.
That is true. I will say it is nice when she has it all in the calendar, and I just come in and be like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing today. All right, cool.
It helps you too. It
It's
helps
very helpful.
everyone. It's just great to have. The other thing that makes me sad, I forgot my wedding ring and my 1-year anniversary ring. So Cole's the only one married.
It looks like we're engaged, but reverse.
Yeah, I proposed to Cole. He said
Yay.
yes.
Yeah, how would you propose to me if you had to propose?
With no one around, just the two of us. Keep it simple.
Aw.
Yeah.
Like on a beach or something?
I don't know. Maybe.
With a rose in your mouth?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
I would do it in the least suspecting way. Make it as big of a surprise as possible.
Like when I'm in the bathroom or something, you just come in, hey, you want to get engaged?
Yeah, basically. That's exactly how I would do it. No, I do a little bit more than that, but I would make sure you had no clue it was coming.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's your style, huh?
That's
The
my
surprise.
style, yeah.
Well, anyway, that's completely beside the point of this video today. So, Charisma and I, we get lots of messages from people, and we love hearing from everybody. And one of the most common messages we get are people reaching out because they have a family member, a loved one, or a friend, or even just someone in their community who has sustained a spinal cord injury or some other form of injury. And they're always wondering what they can do to support that person. And it's a good question because it's a hard thing to figure out.
Yeah, it really is hard. I don't have much experience from Cole's injury because I didn't know Cole and meet him until 6 years after his injury. So a lot of this video is going to be obviously from Cole's perspective, but both received questions and I received questions specifically on how to approach someone with a disability if you're interested in it from the dating aspect. So we could talk a little bit about that as well. But first, we want to talk more about your injury and your experience.
And how to support someone in that situation. I think it makes a lot of sense to understand how that person is feeling. Of course, everybody is very different and handles trauma differently, of course, because everyone's just different. I can share how I felt in those moments and in that time. You know, frankly, not good at all. And I mean, that's probably expected. But that is easily the hardest time of my life in terms of like just depression. And I was always a positive, upbeat person. I feel that way now. I feel that way before my injury, or I felt that way. But when I was injured, I just didn't really have the same kind of attitude about life because I didn't think that life was going to be worth living anymore. Everything that I wrapped my whole identity around was sports, going out, having fun, doing physical things and physical activities like tubing and wakeboarding and skiing and all of these activities. That was like the crux of who I was. Like I loved that stuff. And I saw it all just kind of fizzle away, or at least seemingly so. I've rediscovered a lot of that now, but at the time I didn't realize that I could. And I didn't even want to think about it. I didn't even want to ponder the possibility of a life without those things, in quite the literal sense. I mean, I even, at one point I asked my brother, on a spelling board, I spelled out letter by letter, K-I-L-L-M-E, and he didn't even let me finish. But it just goes to show, like, people in these situations, they've really felt like everything has been lost. While they're in the hospital recovering, you can go on YouTube and see that other people are living lives as quadriplegics, paraplegics, cerebral palsy, all these different people with disabilities are thriving out there. But when you're in the hospital bed, it's hard to really like understand that that's a thing. All you're thinking about is surviving.
And you don't want to hear about like other people thriving in life because what you're going through right now is real in the moment and you're struggling in the moment. And so it's important to respect what someone's feeling and not, you know, try to force them to like, hey, talk to this person who's been injured 20 years and they're like, living life married with kids. It's like, sure, they may think that could happen, but right now in that moment, that's not how they're feeling, and they don't think they're anywhere near there. I think you talked about to me often how when you were first injured, people would come and talk to you, and or show you videos of other people living their life, and Cole wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't care. He didn't want to see these people or talk to them.
No, I did not. I remember the first visitor I had. I was just looking at him, and I feel bad about it now. I feel really poorly. But I was just looking at him with like, why are you here? Can you go away? And I'm not that type of person. I don't like giving that energy to anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I also couldn't even speak, so I was just doing that with my eyes. But I just didn't want to hear like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. Like I live life, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, really? Because you look like you're not living life, which is totally, you know, that was a very ableist mindset for me to have. I'm not understanding that this man was very capable, and I still know this man to this day, and I consider him a friend, but at the time I was like, really, dude? And I just didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to see it. That was like one of the biggest things people wanted to do for me. It was like, oh, meet this person, meet this person, meet this person.
Look at this video.
Watch this, watch that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do appreciate when people share our content with people
Yeah.
who are ready to see what's out there.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I don't really care for our content to be thrown or thrust in front of someone who's just trying to grapple with having any hope at all in life.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's a right time and a right place to share videos. Like, for example, to share our videos. Like, a lot of our videos are educational. This is how Cole does his morning routine. This is how he's learning to dress independently. And I think there's a right time to share those videos with someone who's newly injured. But I don't think, like, within the first couple months is the right time. I think it's like you hear, or they tell you, yeah, I'm trying to work on dressing myself independently. And they're like, oh, I know a video. Hey, you want to check it out just to see how he does it? Like, I think those are good times, but it's important to know that that person is ready to receive that video.
Right, and so the best thing in my mind that you can do in a situation like that is to ask the person, hey, I know this guy, he's a quadriplegic. He does X, Y, and Z. You know, he goes out in campers, he goes skiing, he goes hiking, he goes hunting, all this stuff. Do you want to meet him? Do you want to talk to him? Do you want to hear about how he does these things? When you make that offer, listen to their answer and just take it, you know? If they want to meet with that person, they want to try all those things, they're going to let you know.
Yeah.
And you can be encouraging. It's like, hey, I think it'd be a great conversation. You could learn a lot about, you know, what's out there for you. But if they say no, just let it be. Yeah. Because if anything, when you push it on them, on those people, like when these things are pushed on me, it just made me like want to distance myself even further. So it wasn't helping, you know, we were just making things worse. And I think that's kind of part of the reason why I took so long to come around to things is like, you know, everybody, it was so much, so fast, all these people, all these different things. And I was like, I don't want to, that's too much. I don't want to be part of that. And it took me years to finally circle around. So let the person who's injured kind of lead the way on that front. Yeah.
Do you ever mourn your old self?
Oh, yeah.
Today?
I do. I do. I think I mourn my old self almost every day.
Yeah.
It's hard not to think about it regularly because every task I do, I know in the back of my head would be immensely easier if I were able-bodied.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And then I watch a basketball game, like I'm going to a basketball game soon, and I know while I'm at the game I'm going to be watching the players like, dang, I miss being able to do that. You know, I wish I could still do that.
And that's okay.
And that is such an important part of this process too, is allowing people to mourn. And don't just try to tell them everything's going to be okay, stay strong.
Stay positive. I know we say that, but
send every single Bible verse. And it's like, I get what you're trying to do, but like, I'm crushed.
Yeah.
I've lost everything. I didn't expect that.
I know. It's okay. Do you need a moment?
I gotta do a little morning. No, I'm fine. And it's not something that goes away.
Yeah.
You just learn to live with it.
And that's okay. It's okay to have those moments. It's okay to still get emotional. It's okay to mourn. I don't think, Cole getting emotional about, his injury is saying that he's not thankful or grateful for where he is today. I don't think that says that at all.
No, it's a different person.
Yeah.
It's almost like an entirely different world. And at this point, I'm getting close to living more of my life as a quadriplegic than I had able-bodied. So this is more me now than really who I was. I mean, especially if you consider the years of life you can actually remember. I probably remember more life in a wheelchair than I do able-bodied.
Yeah.
So when I look back on videos, it's not even like the same person. It's a totally different person. And they're just gone. And that's okay, And we all change and evolve.
Yeah.
So I just evolved in a very dramatic way. Mm-hmm. But the rediscovery that people find takes time, and you have to just let the person go through their journey. And so to support people like that, just let them lead the way and just be there.
Yeah.
And if they're ready to take these chances or have these opportunities or open their world to something new, just be encouraging and be accepting and help them. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And understand that there's no rush. It's going to take time. You can be encouraging, but don't push things, because that just might make them even more reserved. And that's the best advice I think I can offer.
I think that's great advice. Yeah. When a lot of people reach out to us, they just want that person to know that they're there and they support them. And I remember talking to Kelly a couple times, Cole's mother, about that time, and the most helpful thing for them going through it, because it's not only the person, it's the family. It's a lot of people being involved. The most helpful thing was coming off and dropping off meals. Or offering to clean, their house that they haven't been in for a long time. And when Cole was in rehab, I think Christmas, you had missed Christmas. So or you were coming home right before Christmas. And so you had neighbors go to your house and decorate for Christmas. So those things have seemed to be super helpful. Just giving a helping hand. Just that is just a lot. That's very helpful. Sometimes that kind of help is more needed than the words, than a long email, wordy email for someone to take time to, because Cole got letters all the time, and it takes so much time to read that, and you have to be in the right mindset to read those letters. And
as much as I appreciate all the letters, frankly, they're kind of the same letter after a while. Stay strong, you got this, we're here for you, anything you need. It's I have 100 people that can do that, but who can help me just be happy?
Yeah.
And the only person that can do that is really me. But that's a great point, because injuries do not happen to one person. It happens to units, family units, communities. And so the support that my family received on the homestead was that was immensely helpful. Like she said, the meals were huge. People would come over and mow the grass. Yeah. People helped out with renovations. So if you want to do something tangible, hands-on, to be helpful, if you're that type of person, I would reach out to the family, not necessarily the person, and say, hey, I have skills building ramps. Do you need help with renovations? I can help, build something for your house. Or do you need someone to rake the leaves out of your yard? Or do you need someone to trim the hedges? Those kind of things go a very long way.
Honestly, even phrasing it differently, I drove past your house the other day. I noticed your yard lawn was getting long. I'm gonna head over there today and mow it for you. Would that be okay with you? Just kind of being more assertive and not saying, hey, what can I do for you? How can I help? Offer whatever you want to offer, and just say, hey, I'm doing this for you. Let me know the best time to drop off this food. Those kind of things. Yeah. When you're more assertive about it, I think that's more helpful, because I know for me personally, when someone's like, hey, let me know what I can do to help. If you ever need a hand, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm always here for you. Okay, I'll remember that. But for you to come to me and saying, hey, let's hop on a call, I want to catch up. Taking more initiative and being more assertive, I think, is more helpful, because sometimes in that moment, someone doesn't necessarily want to receive the help, or they'll just be like, oh, it's okay, I got it. Thank you for offering. I appreciate the offer. Yeah. So I think don't you agree, being more assertive is just probably better.
Make it seem like you're not going out of your way to help them. It's you're just doing it, and
you want to.
Yeah, they can take it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. So there's some suggestions. Obviously, this comes with the caveat that everybody's different. Everybody handles things differently. Everybody wants assistance in different ways. So you do need to, have an understanding of what would be helpful for that family, and the best way to do that is get in touch with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we would advise. So what do you say to people when they reach out about dating someone in a wheelchair?
I feel like that's such a loaded question sometimes because for me, from my personal experience, I just got to know Cole for who he was. And so I always suggest that people do that. Get to know the person for who they are. If you can avoid asking a million questions about their injury, do it. For the first 3 dates or 4 dates, I didn't bring up Cole's disability. Cole was the one to bring up his disability and talk more about it and open up about it because I wanted him to feel comfortable and do it on his own time. And I didn't want Cole to feel like I just wanted to know more about his injury. I wanted to know him for him. And so that was always a focus of mine. It was just to get to know him as a person.
I could tell.
You could tell?
Yeah, I could tell. Because we would be having conversation, and then I would kind of crack the door, oh yeah, ever since my injury. And then when I did that, she would ask a couple questions, but then she would always take the conversation back to wherever it was. I could tell you wanted to get a little information, but you didn't want to just make it all about that, which I appreciated. I was all right, so she's cool learning about this, but she doesn't want to it's not all about that, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever asked you how you were injured. I literally don't think I've ever asked you that. I think
I just told you. You just waited for me to just say it.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Either that or something about your injury was brought up and then it led us into that conversation. But I never came out and was like, how did you get injured? Which people do. A lot of people do all the time, strangers. So that's my biggest advice. And then always being open to communicating. Communication is great in all kinds of relationships, but I think it's especially great in an interrabled relationship because there's so much more that you need to talk about and be comfortable with. Yeah, just being open, communicating, and getting to know the person. I think you should just treat it like any other relationship, and everything else just kind of falls into place. You learn more about the person. I learned more about Cole's disability, how I could help, what I can and can't do. But from the beginning, it was just about us as a couple. And I think that's the best way to build your foundation as a couple. Because you do that in able-bodied couples. That's how you build your foundation. It should be the same exact thing in an interabled relationship.
Yeah, I agree. What also makes this question really hard to answer is, especially with the spinal cord injury community, we're all very different with our function. Even someone that at the same level as me can do things I can't do, or I can do things that they can't do. So it's very, very individual. We post all the things that we can do, but a lot of people can't do that. But there are other things that other couples, interabled couples, do that we can't do. So it's just hard to answer a question because people are like, what are some date ideas? Well, tell me about your partner's disability, what can't they do?
And also, what do you like to do?
Yeah. So it's more about, y'all just need to figure out what you can do together. Yeah. And that's the fun part. I think that is some of the most fun we had, was just
trying things.
Yeah. And we learned a lot. We had a ton of laughs. It was very adventurous, actually, to just try things together. And I had a blast doing that. I kind of missed that phase.
I know. We should get back to it.
Yeah,
I feel like we've tried so much, and I'm like, what else can we try? Jumping out of an airplane? I mean,
I do want to try that.
I know you do.
No, let's do it together. Tandem.
Oh no, we cannot do it together. I would break a leg. You would fall off of me. It'd be too much.
That would not go well.
No.
At all. I'm way too large for you too.
You are.
I would be a dead weight.
You really are. But I just think that being open and communicating, it's just fun. Have fun with it. Just treat it like any other relationship. I think people put too much thought into dating someone with a disability.
Yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, I didn't really put much thought into it. We start putting more thought into our relationship where it became serious, and we knew we wanted to spend the rest of our lives with each other. And then we started having those serious conversations like you would any other couple about what it would look like to live together. Do you want kids? Can we have kids? Am I gonna be your caregiver? Are we gonna hire a caregiver? So those are all important questions and topics to talk about. And maybe you have to talk about those things sooner than you would another relationship. But I think at the beginning, getting to know each other is the best way to go about it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's wild how important communication is in life.
Yeah.
In all of these situations, like both of the things we talked about today, it all comes down to communicating.
Yeah.
Being understanding and communicating things well.
I think our generation talks more.
Probably.
About our feelings.
Yeah.
You know, we talk more about our feelings. We try to understand each other. We don't really brush things under the rug. We went to a comedy show the other day, and a lot of the jokes were just talking about how millennials and Gen Zers are just so open and talk about everything.
Always going to therapy.
Yeah.
Which we have.
But I just think it's like the best way to have a great relationship with someone is just to be open and communicate.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I don't know, I think it's just the best way to have a relationship, and I will continue to communicate. So that's always our advice, is just communicate. We're big proponents of communication. Proponents? Is this the right word? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know. I was just like, that came out weird. I wasn't sure.
That's pretty much how we would answer these questions.
Yeah.
We do appreciate all of those people out there who are trying to support families going through these tough times, because these families do need support.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Even if they tell you they're good, they're not. They need help. I mean, unfortunately, it's just a horribly difficult thing to go through. So thank you for taking those steps to try and be helpful and learning about how to be helpful.
Yeah, hopefully we answered some of your questions. If you have more questions about this topic, leave them in the comments below. We like to address as many questions as possible and educate. That's our favorite thing to do.
Yeah, education. I'm like a professor.
Yeah.
Professor Quad.
Professor Cole. Mr. Cole.
No, I'm a crying Cole, is what I am apparently.
It's okay. You feel emotions. That's okay.
I need more therapy, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
All right, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay positive.
Woo.
Peace out.